Welcome everyone. Welcome. So in this our course, we're going to be discussing about HTML and CSS. So we'll have playlists for HTML and also for CSS. So we are going to be taking our HTML and CSS courses bit by bit. So with time, we'll get to a point whereby we'll become good in HTML and also CSS, and including um beginners. So if even if you're a beginner, you can stick along with this course, and I assure you by the end of the course you should have good knowledge of HTML and CSS. So in this course we're going to be discussing about HTML5. So not just your regular HTML 3.2.1, as those are already outdated. So we're going into the HTML5, which is commonly used today. So what about our CSS? We'll be using the CSS3. So for now, we'll use the HTML for now. We'll discuss more about HTML5. So to start up an HTML folder, we have to install what we call an IDE. An IDE could be a lot of, um, we have so many IDEs. An IDE means Integrated Development Environment. So we have the VS Code, we have brackets, Atom. So throughout this course, I'm going to be using the VS Code. So if you want to use brackets, you can also follow along the course, provided you can navigate through your IDE. There is no problem. We have the Notepad++, but it's recommended that you use the Visual Studio Code. So alongside the Visual Studio Code, I'm going to be showing you some list of extensions you would need to download for this course. But for now, we just have to start with the basics of HTML. So now HTML5, we have tags. To start up an HTML, we have to use, to bring out a file, in your VS Code, you come to the open folder, and when you click, it shows you your file explorer, and I advise you to create a folder first of all on your desktop. Call it any name, then look for it in your explorer when you click on this open. So after clicking on the file and opening it, this is my file with the name that. So now to create a file inside our folder, you just click on this button. This is to create a folder. This is to refresh. Now click on this button and you give the file index.html. So this file index.html is our beginning file in which we use to code. Now this is going to be our home page. This is going to be our homepage markup language. So like HTML, it stands for Hypertext Markup Language. So this is going to be our index.html. So to start up HTML5, there's so many syntax we need to follow. The first syntax is to declare our doc type. I'm writing this way because my system can autocorrect the file. But if yours cannot, then you have to follow syntax by putting the lesser than sign, then doc type HTML. So mine autocomplete, but if yours does not, HTML, then you close the tag. So this kind of tag is called self-closing tag. I will show you an example of tags that require other tags to close them up. So with this doc type HTML, you've just declared your HTML type, that this is HTML5. If this was HTML4, you have a bunch of other stuffs after this point. So this is HTML5. So what are we going to use in our markup language? What are the codes we're going to be writing? What are the syntax we're going to be following? Okay, so now to declare that, we have to use this HTML as a tag now. So you just say the HTML and you close. So automatically mine closes up because I'm using Emmet, which is a Visual Studio Code extension. I will show you more about extensions in the next video. So for this, we have the HTML tags. So let us liken our HTML to a letter. Okay, in a letter we have the head and the body. Now inside the head we have our address and our date, our time, so on and so forth. While in our body we have the heading and the paragraph. So let's liken the head now to our CSS and HTML. So in our HTML we also have head tags. Now in this head tags goes in the title. Now in this title goes in the name of the page. You can say my website. And let us save. So to save, you say Command S in Mac and Control S in Windows. And after saving, we check our code. Excuse me. We check our code and we see that okay, so this is the title of, so when you hover on the bar, yes, you get the my website, which is the title in which you just placed in your browser, your HTML. So this becomes the title of the website, and this bunch of numbers there, they are the host numbers. We'll deal with that when it comes to PHP, or sorry, when it comes to Node.js, we'll talk about servers. Okay, so for now, this is the title of the website in which you placed in between here saying my website. Okay, so what if I change it just to be sure? Let's say our website. Okay, excuse me. Save. Always remember to save, please. Now, after saving it, we see the name changes to our website. So that is always the title for your website. Okay, so now inside the head we have some other bunch of code or tags that we could put in there, but for now we're not going to go into much details. We're still trying to understand the basic syntax for HTML5. So now, when the next thing after the head in every letter is the body. The same as you do in the letter, the same you do here. So you just take in the body. Now, with the body, I told you before, in our body, we have the H1, sorry, we have the heading and the paragraph. So now, in HTML5, we also have heading and paragraph, and headings are represented by H and paragraph are represented by P. Now these are called tags. Okay, so earlier I told you I would show you an example of a tag that closes with itself with another tag. Now if we see, now we have title opening and title closing. So these tags, they need other tags to close them. Why this tag is an example of a self-closing tag because it has no other tag that is closing it. So now, like I was saying before, we have an heading. So to write heading in HTML, we say the H1. Now we have 6 types of heading, basically 6 types of heading. So to get the 6 type of heading, hold Option, Shift, and the down arrow key to duplicate this H1. Then if you're on Windows, you use your Shift, Alt, and down arrow key for Windows. So now we just say heading 1, excuse me. Okay, so we have to change the numbers so that they become visible. So please, if you're changing the number, just give me a minute. So if you're changing the number here, make sure that here changes to 3. It will not change automatically. I will show you the extension that will enable you do that automatically. So now let's say 5 and let's say 6. So if you're having 6 here, always make sure you have 6 here also. So now let us save, and we're going to be seeing different types of heading in our HTML. So when you save, okay, you come here and reload. For now, you reload. Later, I'm going to show you how to use Live Server. We have a video dedicated specifically for extensions. So now this is the heading 1, and this is heading 2, this is heading 3, this is heading 4, this is heading 5, and this is heading 6. Now what do we notice? We'll notice that heading 1, which is our H1, is the largest. Then the smallest is our H6 over here. So this is our H1 and this is our H6. So the headings are arranged according to from the maximum to the minimum. So from the largest to the smallest. So we have different type of heading for different purposes. So depending on the kind of heading you want to use, there is a heading pattern for that. Okay, so what about our paragraph? For our paragraph, we just have one tag, and that is the P tag. So we don't have the P large or the P small or this P mini. No, we just have the paragraph. And let us get a bunch of words here. So we use lorem, say 10. So when you write lorem 10, automatically it generates 10 random words for you in Latin. So let's save and let's see in our Chrome, reload, and you get this. So this is your paragraph. So the heading appears big, the paragraph appears small, and it's not as thick as the heading. So that is the difference between the heading and the paragraph in HTML. So this is where we'll stop for now. Thank you very much for watching, and gradually I know you'll go from beginner to pro.